Hidden across America are quiet communities where life moves at a completely different pace. While most people associate the Amish with Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana, dozens of lesser-known Amish settlements remain largely overlooked by outsiders. These forgotten communities preserve traditions that have survived for centuries, offering a glimpse into a lifestyle centered on faith, family, hard work, and self-sufficiency. Today, we'll explore some of America's most fascinating Amish territories, why they continue to grow, and what attracts thousands of people seeking a simpler way of life. And while outsiders cannot simply move in and become Amish, many people choose to live near these communities because of the peaceful rural lifestyle they help preserve. In the rolling countryside of southern Tennessee, the Amish settlement near Etheridge stands as a quiet counterpoint to the crowded, tourist-heavy regions of the north. Here, nearly 2,200 to 2,500 Amish live across 14 church districts, forming the largest such community in the South. The people of Etheridge belong to the Schwartzentruber affiliation, known for its commitment to the most traditional forms of Amish life. Electricity is absent from homes and workshops. Horse-drawn buggies pass along rural highways, and the day's work still begins and ends by the sun. Farming remains the backbone of this community. Small fields of corn, hay, and vegetables surround simple homesteads tended by families whose routines have changed little in generations. In barns and sheds, woodworkers craft furniture by hand, using tools powered by muscle instead of motors. These goods find their way to roadside stands and small markets, drawing visitors from across Tennessee and neighboring states. Yet, for all the interest from outsiders, Etheridge's Amish maintain a careful boundary. Business hours are posted, but unsolicited photography and intrusion on family life are quietly discouraged. Life here is shaped by religious conviction and a desire for separation, not by nostalgia or a wish to perform for visitors. The balance is delicate. The community welcomes those who respect its ways, offering a glimpse of a living faith that values humility, work, and privacy above spectacle. Etheridge reminds us that Amish life is not a relic, but a present reality in unexpected corners of America. In the heart of Wisconsin's driftless region, the Amish settlement near Cashton has quietly grown into one of the state's most enduring communities. The landscape here is defined by rolling hills and fertile valleys, a patchwork of small dairy farms and hayfields that seem to rise and fall with the land itself. For Amish families, this terrain offers more than just scenery. It provides the kind of rich, workable soil that supports traditional farming methods and a way of life centered on the rhythms of the land. Cashton's Amish are mostly old order, drawing on practices that have changed little in decades. Milking is done by hand or with horse-powered equipment, and the milk from these farms supplies local cheese houses, including the well-known Old Country Cheese Factory. Cheese production is not just a business here, it's a skill passed down through generations, connecting families to both their Swiss roots and their Wisconsin neighbors. The result is a local economy where farm work and craftsmanship reinforce each other. Woodworking shops dot the back roads, turning out everything from sturdy barns to finely crafted furniture. These workshops operate without electric tools, relying instead on ingenuity and the strength of community ties. The same values that guide their farming, patience, precision, and resourcefulness shape their approach to wood and dairy alike. Cashton's appeal endures because the land itself supports these traditions. As the wider world changes, the stability of this region continues to attract new Amish families seeking a place where faith, family, and manual labor can thrive together. The settlement raises a broader question. What is it about places like this that keep drawing people in, generation after generation? In northwestern Missouri, the town of Jamesport stands as one of the state's oldest Amish settlements, its roots stretching back to the late 19th century. Today, more than 1,000 Amish live in 8 church districts on the outskirts of town. The rhythm of daily life here is anchored in agriculture, fields of corn and hay, dairy herds, and vegetable gardens tended by hand and horse. Yet the impact of Jamesport's Amish community reaches well beyond the farm gate. Handcrafted furniture, baked goods, and quilts fill small shops and roadside stands, each item the product of hours of labor and skill, passed down through generations. Oak tables and hickory rockers, pies cooled on wooden racks, and intricate patchwork quilts all find their way into the homes of local residents and visitors alike. These goods supply the town's markets and attract buyers from across Missouri, giving Jamesport a distinct identity tied to Amish craftsmanship. Local grocers stock produce grown on Amish farms, while hardware stores and cafes benefit from steady traffic drawn by the reputation for quality and authenticity. The relationship is practical, not abstract. Amish families provide the backbone for a rural economy where work, faith, and community are inseparable. In Jamesport, the line between farm and town blurs, creating a rural marketplace shaped by the steady hands of its Amish neighbors. Seymour, Missouri, stands out on the map of Amish America for reasons that go beyond tradition. With 19 church districts and an estimated 3,530 Amish residents, it is now the largest conservative Swiss settlement in the country. Growth here has been rapid, driven by a steady stream of young families searching for land they can afford and space to build a future. In Seymour, farmland remains accessible compared to the crowded regions of the East. Fields are large enough to support new households, and the cost of acreage has drawn families from as far as Indiana and Ohio. The community's age profile is striking. Many households are headed by young parents, and schoolhouses often fill to capacity. This youthful energy fuels a wave of home-based businesses, small furniture shops, bulk food stores, and construction crews that operate out of barns and sheds. These enterprises are more than side projects. They are lifelines that help families make ends meet when farming alone is not enough. The willingness to adapt while keeping faith and family at the center has allowed Seymour's Amish to thrive, even as soil quality and distance from extended kin pose new challenges. Land prices shape every decision. When costs rise, families look further afield or shift to mixed crop and livestock operations. Yet the desire to preserve a way of life, one rooted in community and continuity, remains constant. Seymour's story is a reminder that, for the Amish, economic realities and religious conviction are deeply entwined, each shaping the future of these hidden havens. Guthrie, Kentucky, sits quietly in the patchwork farmland of Todd County, far from the spotlight that shines on larger Amish settlements. Here, the Amish presence is smaller and less recognized, yet the sense of community is no less complete. Guthrie is home to a New Order congregation, a branch known for its careful balance between tradition and selective adaptation. Unlike the stricter Old Order or Swartz and Truber groups, New Order Amish in Guthrie allow limited electricity in their homes and use tractors fitted with steel wheels, yet still rely on horse-drawn buggies for travel. Daily life centers on small farms, family gardens, and a rhythm set by the seasons. Handmade quilts, preserves, and woodcrafts are sold at local markets or from simple roadside stands. These goods do not draw crowds or spark a regional economy, but they help sustain the community and connect it to its neighbors. Many families have chosen Guthrie precisely for its quiet. The rolling fields and wooded lanes of rural Kentucky offer privacy and space to live according to conviction, away from the pressures of growth or outside attention. In Guthrie, cultural importance is measured not by size or fame, but by the steady continuation of faith, family, and work, values that feel stable and lasting within this modest settlement. Clark, Missouri sits far from the main highways, surrounded by quiet fields and wooded lanes. With just 175 Amish residents forming a single district, Clark is one of the Midwest's most secluded communities. Here, the New Order affiliation shapes daily life, but distance from outsiders does even more. Farms stretch across the countryside, supporting families who rely on corn, hay, and livestock for their livelihood. Unlike the bustling markets of Jamesport or the tourist routes of Etheridge, Clark's roads remain empty most days, and visitors are few. This limited exposure to outside attention allows the community to keep older patterns intact: barn raisings, Sunday worship in homes, and a steady pace of work tied to the seasons. Social boundaries are firmer, and privacy is respected as a matter of faith. The lack of tourism means that rhythms are set by the land and the church, not by demand from beyond the settlement. In Clark, isolation is not just a fact of geography. It's a shield, preserving a way of life that often goes unseen, even as the Amish story continues to unfold across the country. Centerville, Michigan offers a different perspective on Amish endurance, not through isolation, but through careful adaptation. With about 16 church districts and a population nearing 2,000, Centerville's Amish community has quietly expanded over recent decades. The area's productive farmland and relatively affordable property have drawn families from both within Michigan and neighboring states, creating a steady pattern of growth that stands out among smaller settlements. What sets Centerville apart is the visible rise of Amish-owned businesses. Roadside stands selling baked goods and produce are joined by woodworking shops, harness makers, and small-scale dairies. These enterprises serve both Amish and non-Amish neighbors, yet they operate on principles that keep tradition intact. Electricity remains off limits in homes and workshops, and the ordinance guides every business decision, from working hours to the kinds of products offered. Growth here does not mean giving up the community's core identity. Instead, change is managed thoughtfully, with new ventures fitting into the established rhythm of rural life. Centerville acts as a bridge, linking smaller, more hidden settlements to larger regional centers, showing that it is possible to adapt to new realities without losing the thread of tradition that holds the community together. Holmes County, Ohio, stands at the center of Amish America, both in numbers and in complexity. With 322 church districts and a population nearing 39,000, it is second only to Lancaster County in size, yet its internal diversity sets it apart. Here, 4 major affiliations, Swartz and Truber, Andy Weaver, Old Order, and New Order, share the same landscape, each shaping daily life in distinct ways. This mosaic of beliefs and customs is visible in everything from the style of barns to the patterns of Sunday worship. The sheer scale of Holmes County's Amish presence is felt across the countryside. Nearly 4,500 family farms carve out a patchwork of fields and woodlots over more than 1,200 square miles. Dairy herds graze on rolling hills, while teams of horses work the land much as they did a century ago. Yet farming is only part of the story. The county's name has become synonymous with furniture making. Hundreds of workshops produce handcrafted tables, chairs, and cabinets that find their way into homes across the country. Cheese production, too, remains a pillar, with local dairies supplying both Amish and non-Amish markets. In recent years, construction work has grown into a defining thread. Amish-owned building crews, often organized as cooperatives, take on residential and commercial projects well beyond county lines. This shift towards skilled trades reflects both economic necessity and a willingness to adapt, even as it sparks debate among elders who remember a time when nearly every family made its living from the soil. What holds Holmes County together is its ability to balance tradition with change. The presence of multiple affiliations means that no single ordnung dominates. Instead, the community negotiates its boundaries through quiet compromise, allowing a remarkable range of practices and beliefs to coexist. The result is a living portrait of Amish life, rooted in faith, shaped by work, and constantly evolving within the heart of rural Ohio. Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, stands as the most recognized Amish settlement in America, its reputation stretching back over 3 centuries. The first Amish families arrived here in the 1720s, drawn by William Penn's promise of religious freedom and fertile farmland. Today, Lancaster is home to 267 church districts and nearly 44,800 Amish, making it the largest single Amish community in the country. But what truly sets Lancaster apart is its visibility. Each year, over 3 million visitors travel its backroads, drawn by the sight of horse-drawn buggies, the promise of homemade pies, and the hope of catching a glimpse of a world that seems set apart from modern life. Tourism here generates more than $400 million annually, supporting local farms, roadside stands, and workshops where furniture, quilts, and crafts are made by hand. Yet this attention brings its own burdens. The countryside that once offered seclusion now finds its quiet broken by tour buses and camera phones. Amish elders have voiced concern over privacy violations, photographs taken without consent, crowded buggy lanes, and the steady pressure to adapt or retreat. The tension is felt in everyday life. Children walking to school past strangers on the roadside, and farmers must share narrow roads with a constant stream of traffic. Economic opportunity is balanced by a desire to protect the spiritual and communal focus that has shaped Lancaster's Amish for generations. Here, the challenge is not only to preserve tradition, but to do so under the gaze of millions, making privacy itself a kind of daily negotiation. In Lancaster, the story of the Amish is written in the push and pull between public curiosity and the quiet strength of a community determined to remain true to its convictions. Shipshewana, Indiana is home to 237 church districts and nearly 29,905 Amish residents, ranking among the largest and fastest growing Amish communities in North America. The landscape is shaped by small farms, woodworking shops, and homesteads where daily routines echo generations of tradition. Farming remains central, with fields of corn, hay, and dairy cattle supporting families across the region. Woodworking and furniture making are more than trades. They are legacies, with skills passed down and a reputation for quality reaching well beyond Indiana's borders. Handcrafted quilts, baked goods, and preserves fill roadside stands, each piece a reflection of patience and care. The Shipshewana Flea Market, which began in 1971, now draws about 600,000 visitors a year and features more than 1,200 vendors. It is a regional destination connecting Amish producers with the wider world and offering everything from handmade furniture to homegrown produce. The market sustains livelihoods and celebrates tradition, anchoring the town's public life. Despite its size, Shipshewana's identity is rooted in faith, family, and cooperation. The Ordnung, a guiding code, shapes choices about technology, commerce, and daily conduct. Continuity is visible in the rhythm of the seasons, the steady work of hands in the shop, and the quiet gatherings of neighbors. Shipshewana stands as a leading example of tradition thriving in the present, where community values remain at the heart of daily life. Beyond the boundaries of Amish church districts, a different kind of rural life unfolds. Some non-Amish families are drawn to these areas for reasons that are both practical and personal. The appeal often starts with open space. Lower population density means quieter roads, wide fields, and a sense of privacy that's hard to find elsewhere. The landscape itself invites a slower rhythm, where days are measured by the seasons and the work at hand. Local food systems add another layer, with fresh produce, eggs, and baked goods available at roadside stands or small markets. Family-owned businesses, from sawmills to repair shops, anchor the local economy and provide steady work without the rush of city schedules. For many, living near an Amish settlement is about finding a place where community ties still matter and where respecting neighbors' customs is part of everyday life. Here, proximity brings its own rewards, shaped by the land and the quiet strength of rural tradition. Joining an Amish church is possible, but it is one of the rare paths a person can take. The process is not a matter of moving into an Amish settlement or adopting plain dress. It begins with years of careful observation, living among the community, and participating in daily routines. Prospective members must learn Pennsylvania German, follow the Ordnung, and attend church services week after week. Baptismal instruction stretches over months, sometimes a full year, and acceptance is never guaranteed. The congregation, guided by its bishop, decides whether a candidate has truly embraced the spirit and discipline of Amish faith. Even then, the commitment is lifelong, giving up modern conveniences, family ties outside the church, and personal ambitions for the sake of community and faith. The rarity of conversion is not a barrier but a safeguard, preserving the integrity of a tradition that is both spiritual and cultural. Simply living nearby, no matter how respectfully, is not the same as becoming Amish. In a nation shaped by constant change, these Amish enclaves quietly endure, rooted not in nostalgia, but in lived conviction and faith. As rural America transforms, their presence sparks fresh questions about community, belonging, and the pace of modern life. The choice to live simply remains rare, but its meaning grows urgent. Which Amish community would you visit, and could you imagine embracing that way of life? Share your thoughts below.